Do you love movies? So do I. What's up, y'all? It's KB, and I love movies, inviting you to listen to The Conversation, a film podcast where passion meets perspective and opinion. From the old school to the new, I invite a guest on to discuss the movies that thrill us, challenge us, break our hearts, or even blow our minds. There's always new episodes dropping wherever you get your podcasts. So join the conversation. We don't just watch movies. We love talking about them too. The Conversation with KB Loves Movies, a part of Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Hey, this is Jason Kleberg from the Force 5 podcast, a show that forces a guest to come up with a movie-themed top 5 list topic, and then we reveal our picks on air. Top 5 heist films, top 5 tearjerkers, top 5 movie dogs. Every show you'll be asking yourself, what would be on my list? Guests include directors, screenwriters, actors, podcasters, musicians, authors, and even a professional wrestler. Subscribe to the Force 5 podcast, and you won't just be a listener, you'll be a list nerd. The Force 5 podcast, available wherever you're listening now.
Smug.
Welcome to Wake Up Heavy, the world's greatest horror movie podcast.
Hello, and welcome back to Wake Up Heavy, Recollections of Horror. This is Mark Begley, your host, and it is the end of June, and it is a beautiful day.
And it's a beautiful day.
For some reason, we had a significant drop in temperature over the last couple days from 107 to 87, I think, is supposed to be the high today. And I'm loving it. I don't have to have all the fans on and all the noise in the room while I record this last episode of Notes from Home. And I know that on the last episode of Notes from Home, I said that would be the last episode of Notes from Home, but I lied. I just wanted to touch base here and note some changes for upcoming episodes that I probably tossed out in one of the other Notes from Home, and things change as they do. And really exciting change for one thing, the Shivers episode with Mike White, which was probably going to be recorded at some point this month, has been moved back to September. And the nice thing about that is it's going to be a double feature with Mike on my show and me on Mike's show, probably with another guest as well. He usually has 2 guests. We will be talking about David Cronenberg's The Brood. Look forward to that. I will be recording with Mike soon for a special report episode of the Projection Booth podcast, and I'm super stoked about that. It'll be my first appearance on his show. And that wasn't going to happen until the end of the year. All this stuff will kind of come up again because it relates to some of my movie watching since the last Notes from Home. I mentioned the weather at the top of the show, and I just wanted to say, if you aren't subscribed to David Lynch Theater on YouTube, you need to remedy that as quickly as possible. He has started doing his weather report again.
Good morning. It's June 29, 2020, and it's a Monday.
And it may have been going on for about a month now or so. This is something that he did back on the David Lynch website back in the early 2000s. And I think it was one of the items that was not behind the paywall of his website. Check it out, David Lynch Theater, and I think there's also David Lynch Music. And so he does the weather report. He has a thing called What is David Working on Today, which are a delight. And he is putting up episodes of Rabbits, which is, again, from the old David Lynch website. So check that all out, subscribe, and get your daily dose of David Lynch to brighten your quarantine days. Speaking of, I think the last time I did one of these. It was officially the end of my daughter's school year, so we are into summer, and since she really has no place to go, I have continued to work from home, and so since she's here, and since we've been going through a lot of movie watching, we will do another bit with her towards the end. A little bit briefer, I think I mentioned to her, just be a lightning round where we go through what we've watched. She can give her thumbs up or thumbs down, and maybe a favorite thing about that movie. My personal movie viewing has been split probably not very evenly between rewatches and new watches. I guess that's kind of really not necessary to mention. A lot of the rewatches had to do with what Cleo and I watched. Some things that I've been trying to find for a while ended up being on these oddball streaming services that we now have, either because of Xfinity basically giving us Peacock and then HBO Max being available to us via our AT&T account. Rumblefish, I have been trying to track down for a while, and by track down, I mean find on streaming. And then I started utilizing the library system here for DVD rentals and had it on my hold list. And then I discovered that it was on Peacock, so I watched it. Still not my fave. I don't know. I enjoyed it more. I probably haven't watched it in a good 25 or 30 years. And it's just so over stylized, it kind of loses some of that emotional feel that The Outsiders had. But again, it's Francis Ford Coppola adapting an S.E. Hinton young adult novel. A lot of the same actors are in it. It has Tom Waits. How can you go wrong with Tom Waits? But there's something about the pacing and the really unnaturalistic dialogue recitation that never sat well with me, and I can handle it a little bit better now. This was a movie that I don't remember how I found out about it, but it's called Disappearance at Clifton Hill, and I watched the trailer a while back and was really happy to see David Cronenberg in it, and he plays a podcaster in this. It takes place in near Niagara Falls on the Canadian side of the Niagara Falls, and is more of a mystery, say, than a horror film. I really enjoyed it. I was just extremely tickled that Cronenberg was playing a podcaster in this. And with the Cronenberg episodes coming up and stuff, it was just kind of a nice confluence of those things. And he gives this wonderful bit of dialogue in the film.
Remember, rate and review the podcast. It helps our rankings.
I was able to finish off the Lone Wolf and Cub series because those are on HBO Max, as are a number of the Criterion Collection movies. Combined with Canopy, this has allowed me to catch a lot of those without signing up for the Criterion channel. So, finish those. I think the second one, which I'm not going to remember the title to, is my favorite of those six movies, 5 movies. Oh, and I rewatched The Guest. So if you have watched the recent Netflix movie with Will Ferrell and Rachel McAdams called Eurovision, Dan Stevens is in that and steals the movie as far as I'm concerned and is amazing in The Guest. This is a movie that I enjoyed much more this second viewing, and it's back on Netflix. So watch Eurovision, and then right after you can watch Dan Stevens again in a completely different movie. Some new watches of recent films that I've been wanting to watch. My wife and I watched both of these, Ready or Not and Knives Out. We enjoyed them both. I watched The Incredible Melting Man because that kept popping up as suggestions on different streaming services, and I had watched a movie called Demented a while back, which was kind of one of those why didn't I rent this movies. I had seen that VHS so many times in the video store years ago. The director of that movie is the star of The Incredible Melting Man. It's another one of those tonally off films that was supposed to be a parody or spoof, but then it was shot straight, and some of the acting still has that really overwrought, spoofy kind of feel to it. Pretty entertaining, has some really oozy early Rick Baker effects in it, so it was worth a watch. I recognized one of the actors in it, Lyle Wilson, and I was like, oh, he's the guy in Sisters. So I thought I would start to do this 6 degrees of separation with Incredible Melting Man and continue this thread of watching. The next movie would be somebody that's from Sisters. So Charles Durning or Margot Kidder. Sort of got sidetracked pretty quickly. When I make plans like that, I never follow through, but I will get back to it. Every time I watch Sisters, I have to remind myself that I am watching a Brian De Palma movie and not a David Cronenberg movie. I don't know what it is about that. I guess the surgery aspect, the conjoined twin aspect of it, the fact that Margot Kidder has a very heavy French-Canadian accent in it, makes me think of Cronenberg. Again, Cronenberg on the brain, probably for the next couple of months here. Here is a first-time watch that I really enjoyed. I watched this on Mike White's Friday night cast party where he shows a bunch of movies and shorts, but it was Ladies and Gentlemen, The Fabulous Stains, which has been on my list for a long time. And then Night of the Creeps was on TCM Underground a few weeks back. I have probably mentioned in numerous episodes that it is not one, or was not one of my favorite films from back in the day. A lot of people really love it. It just never really clicked with me, but I decided to watch it again, enjoyed it much more this time. I think the relationship between the two leads is really kind of sweet. I never caught that angle of it before, and Tom Atkins is great, probably one of his best roles. And then this was probably my favorite rewatch of this month or so. I had been trying to get Tough Guys Don't Dance on some streaming site and discovered it. I think it's on ScreenPix. Again, another one of those weird channels that Xfinity gave to us when they took away some other things. This is a movie that I really enjoyed back when it came out, and remember renting it quite a lot. It fit in with River's Edge and Blue Velvet for me for some reason. I didn't know until a couple of years ago that it had a really bad reputation. I was curious to watch it again to see how I would feel about it, and I still really enjoy it. It's really convoluted. It is, I'm not sure how to describe it. I think the best example of this film's problems are the now infamous "Oh God, oh man" line reading from Ryan O'Neal.
Oh man, oh God, oh man, oh God, oh man, oh God, oh man, oh God, oh man, oh God.
Okay, to finish up with my watches, my favorite first-time watches, Jesus Shows You the Way to the Highway by Miguel Yanzo. This is one of the movies, along with the director's earlier film Crumbs, that I will be talking about on the Projection Booth podcast way in the future in December. Check them both out. Very interesting films. Believe he's a Spanish director, but works in Ethiopia. So there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. Jesus Shows You the Way is full of craziness. The Vast of Night. I can't remember if I mentioned this on the last Notes from Home, but if I did, my apologies. It is a lo-fi, sci-fi, alien invasion film that is available on Prime. So check it out. I finally watched Zardoz, and that is on Hulu. I've seen the image of Sean Connery in his diaper for God knows how many years. I don't know why I've never watched that movie. I've read about it in all of my weird movie books, and it did not disappoint. My second favorite first-time watch is another one that I have been searching for quite a while.
It's time for another tangent.
I'm going to take a tangent here and talk about this searching thing. I follow a lot of people on Twitter that are staunch physical media supporters, and I totally get that. And if you have the disposable income for it, by all means, do it. I have mentioned in the past, I'm not super big on extras. I hardly watch any of the extras or listen to commentary on the discs that I do have. I try to do it for the show when I can, but overall, it's just not something that appeals to me in a greater sense. The other thing is, I had this revelation the other day when thinking about this to myself. This searching for streaming movies, going to justwatch.com, checking Xfinity, it harkens back to the old video days of going from store to find a certain movie, trying to get places to order movies for me so that I could rent them. I mean, you could buy videos, but they were really expensive. I think part of that search mode in me is from those old days. I enjoy it to a certain extent, even though it can be frustrating. So this movie I have been looking for a while. So thanks to TCM Underground and Millie DeChirico, who does the programming for TCM Underground, I was able to catch this one. And I caught it by chance. I saw it on the guide and thought, oh shit, I need to record this. So it is Paul Schrader's Hardcore from 1979, I believe. So this is post-Taxi Driver, and it harkens back to Taxi Driver and almost feels like it's the continuation of the Iris Steensma story. And there is even a character in the movie with that same last name. Would be a good double feature with Taxi Driver. It would also be a good double feature with First Reformed, or just make it a triple feature, because this introduces that Calvinist Dutch Reformed Church ideology that is so prevalent in First Reformed. We had that against the backdrop of 70s LA porn. And I think that was why I was scared off from the movie back when I was younger and thought it would be really salacious, and I was a bit of a prude. I stayed away for a long time, and then when I finally got interested, it just wasn't available. I've been searching for it on streaming for a couple of years at least. Really enjoyed it. Might still be on TCM as far as on demand, so catch it if you can. And then my absolute favorite first-time watch was In Fabric by Peter Strickland. You've probably heard me mention this. I am a fan of his, and this movie is absolutely bonkers. It is on Canopy for free. Of course, you can rent it elsewhere. This is one of those A24 movies, and it never showed up on Amazon Prime. I think their licensing agreement has switched to Netflix. Again, I may have mentioned this already at some point. Probably should go back and listen to my previous episodes before I start recording, but yeah, I just don't do that. It's about a killer dress. It is top tier Strickland. I will be watching it again very soon to see if it takes the first place slot over Barbarian Sound Studio, which I just absolutely love. But this was really insane, a whole lot of fun. Not for everybody, maybe. Try to think of it as a super, super dark comedy, and that might help. But yeah, it's free on Canopy, so get that through your library and check out all the cool stuff that they have.
I think it's time for a break.
Okay, as promised, we are back once again with my daughter Cleo, and we're going to talk about some of the movies we watched. We'll do this a little bit quicker than before and have a lightning round discussion. So this all started with finding the original animated Hobbit on HBO Max. We decided to watch all the animated films, and then that led us into the Lord of the Rings trilogy, which then led us into the Hobbit trilogy. So let's go through that stuff first. Thumbs up or thumbs down on the original animated Hobbit?
Thumbs up.
And what's the one thing that you liked about that one?
They were funny, but I don't know, the music.
Yeah, so those are the Rankin Bass. This one and the Return of the King are by the same guys that do all those Christmas shows we watch. So there was music. I particularly liked the way they drew Gollum in those as kind of a frog-like creature.
Yeah.
So what about the Lord of the Rings, which I guess includes parts of the Fellowship of the Ring and the Two Towers? Yay or nay on that one?
Those ones are good.
Yeah, that's the one with that animation style that's called rotoscoping. So a lot of the human figures, and even some of the other ones, like the ring wraiths, were taken from actual film that they drew over. That was what kind of struck me when I was a little kid and saw them in the theater. So would you like that one more than The Hobbit, or the other way around?
I liked that one a little more than The Hobbit.
And then we went back to the Rankin Bass ones and finished out the quadrilogy, I guess, of the Hobbits with The Return of the King. Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Thumbs up.
And what was your favorite part about that one? I think I know the answer already.
The amazing music. It was beautiful.
The epic song.
Yes.
Where there's a wit, there's a way. Where there's a wit, there's a way. Where there's a wit, we don't want to go to war today.
Okay, so then we watched the extended editions of The Lord of the Rings by Peter Jackson because we own those. Your mom and I got those. We saw them in the theater, and we got those extended editions whenever they came out. And the first one is The Fellowship of the Ring. So thumbs up or thumbs down?
Thumbs up.
And what did you like about that one?
It was just, I liked it. I haven't read the book, so I didn't really know if there was differences, but I liked it. And I liked that it went back and forth from each, because at some point they did get split up. I don't know if it was in Fellowship of the Ring, but they did get split up and started to switch from with each story.
Right, switch between the stories. Yes, I like that part of it too. I always like it when they're focused mainly on the hobbits, though. I think that's just because that's who I always identified with as a kid. And then, of course, we watched The Two Towers. So thumbs up or thumbs down on that one?
Thumbs up.
And what did you like about that one?
I liked the the whole section with Merry and Pippin being in the forest, because that was just fun. Again, I liked that they focused on both of the groups and they got split up. It's nice to see what's happening on both sides.
Is that the one with the ghost army?
I think the Ghost Army is in Return of the King, which...
Okay. Yeah, because see, when we not only did we watch these over days, but we had to split the movies up in between days, so I kind of started to lose track of what parts were in which movie. So we'll save that section for later. Yes, I love Merry and Pippin in the forest with Treebeard. I think that was my favorite part, even when we saw that back in the theater. And then finally, of course, we have the Return of the King, the end of that trilogy, and I guess I've already given my favorite part for that one. Thumbs up or thumbs down on that one?
Thumbs up.
And what's your favorite part about that one?
Probably the battle with the ghosts and Sam and Frodo finally getting rid of the ring.
It gets a little bit stressful at the end.
Yeah.
Which kind of happens in the animated part too. That third movie gets a little bit stressful with constantly losing Frodo and losing the ring, and just want him.
Gollum.
And Gollum, yeah, who is amazing. My favorite part of all of the movies is Gollum. And so then we went ahead and watched the Hobbit trilogy, which I had heard negative reactions about mostly when it came out, and I wasn't really all that interested in seeing them when they came out. I do kind of agree that it probably should have just been one movie, maybe two, because a lot of those fight scenes are really dragged out to almost a ridiculous extent. But that's just my opinion. So the first one of those, you're going to have to help me remember what the first one's called.
An Unexpected Journey, I think.
Yay or nay on that one?
That was good. I liked it. Some parts were a little too extended. I don't know.
No, I think that's kind of the overall feeling of these. They really added a lot of stuff in from other Tolkien books, and for whatever reason felt that it needed to be a trilogy again. And I think it would have just been better as one, maybe 2.5 hour movie without all of the battles. And I'm going to have a really hard time remembering what was in which one. But that barrel ride down the river.
Oh, that was amazing in Desolation of Smaug.
So that was in the second one, and it went on for about 5 minutes too long, at least in my eyes. It just got a little bit crazy. And relying so much on the CGI and the de-aging just really kind of didn't work for me. But what did you think about that second one?
I liked it. We got to see more of Thorin kind of losing his mind for a little bit. But Lake Town, that was actually, some of it was a little too long in the Lake Town area, but I liked it. It was okay.
And we just finished the trilogy today after splitting it up again between... I think a couple days ago and today. Mm-hmm. And that one is called...
The Battle of the Five Armies.
Okay. Were there 5 armies? I couldn't even keep track.
Yeah, I don't know. Because there was like... Here we have some orcs, and then there's more orcs, and then there's
goblins, and there's dwarves, and elves. Yeah. So I guess that's 5. And whatever that town is that they were protecting...
Yeah, which wasn't really an army, but, you know.
This one was probably actually my least favorite out of all 6 of those Peter Jackson Hobbit movies. Too much of one long battle, and it could have been way shorter.
Definitely. The whole scene with Toriel and Killy trying to survive, even though Killy obviously doesn't. Like, her getting thrown off the cliff and still surviving. It's kind of long. Just for that little part.
I really think they could have edited, even if it was still a trilogy, they could have been about an hour and a half long movies as opposed to almost 3 in every case. These are movies you think that you'll go back to at some point and rewatch?
Yes, definitely.
You're now getting ready to start in on the Lord of the Rings trilogy. So, yeah, you can see the differences, and it's been decades since I read any of them, and so I never can really tell what's different.
Yeah, some parts bothered me in the movie. Like, for example, Bilbo kills Smaug.
Smaug.
He kills him, not Guard. I don't know his name. I don't remember his name. He kills him by himself in the Lonely Mountain in the book.
Oh, in the book. He kills
him by himself.
Oh, right. You read The Hobbit. That's right. Yes.
Yes. I do like Toriel, but she doesn't exist in the books.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And Thorin, Killy, and Philly don't die. So yeah, some of the things, it was like kind of bothersome, but I don't really care that much.
They can both exist and in the same universe and be enjoyed for different reasons, as with all adaptations. I'm just more curious about the Lord of the Rings to see what kind of differences you'll note when you start reading the books.
Yeah.
Other than the Tolkien filmography that we watched a couple other films, and we watched a classic, Jaws. So thumbs up or thumbs down on that one?
Thumbs up. I loved it.
And what was your favorite part about Jaws? Or parts, if there's more than one?
Probably most of the scenes where they're on the boat and blowing up the shark's face, because that was fun. I liked it.
Smile, you son of a...
Yes, and you caught the foreshadowing of that with the tanks, and even commented, I hope he throws those in his mouth or something like that. And I had to keep my mouth shut knowing what happens. But yes, good job on catching that.
Yeah.
And then we watched Jurassic Park. So thumbs up or thumbs down on that classic?
Thumbs up. I really liked the puppets.
Having watched all those Lord of the Rings movies and all the other movies that we watched that are loaded with CGI, that was, of course, one of the first big CGI films. And I gotta say, the stuff today doesn't look all that much better than what they did almost 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And you're right, the puppets are great when they're there, and the giant T-Rex puppet is amazing. And
the Velociraptor puppets, I loved them.
It all meshed really well. There were only a couple of odd spots where it went from puppet to CGI, but they still weren't really all that glaring. It was not, I haven't watched it in years, so it was fun to go back to it.
Yeah.
So is there anything on your watch list that we need to get to soon?
I don't actually know. I don't think so.
Oh, one thing we all watched, and I mentioned this earlier in the episode, but we watched the Eurovision Song Contest saga of Fire Saga or whatever the whole title is. So what did you think about that one?
That one was funny. I liked it. A bit goofy, but
yeah,
it's a good movie.
I think you could say that after any Will Ferrell film. So
yeah, true.
Okay, well, thanks a lot, Cleo, and I will talk to you soon.
Okay.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I think it's time for a break.
Thanks to Cleo for indulging her old man in this project during our strange times right now. And thank you for listening. I'm going to try and wrap this up as quickly as possible. Not going to mention anything coming up. Hopefully I'll get to something during July for the show. And then I've got the project coming up with the Projection Booth podcast, but I'm going to keep it loose. I think I took a break last year in June. Maybe I'll kind of do that in July if something hits me and I've got the time and the wherewithal to do an episode. I will. Otherwise, you may not see me again until August with something new. But who knows? We know that things pop into my head at any given moment. I think that'll do it for this episode. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review.
Remember, rate and review.
Stay safe, be smart. This pandemic is not over yet, as we can see in the news. Take care and be responsible and respectful. And never forget,
Anything can happen when you wake up heavy.
Middle of the earth in the land of Shire lives a brave little hobbit whom we all admire. With his long wooden pipe, fuzzy woolly toes, he lives in a hobbit hole and everybody knows him. Bilbo, Bilbo Baggins, he's only 3 feet tall. Bilbo, Bilbo Baggins, the bravest little hobbit of them all. Hobbits are peace-loving folks, you know. They're never in a hurry and they take things slow. They don't like to travel away from home. They just like to eat and be left alone. But one day Bilbo was asked to go on a big adventure to the caves below to help some dwarves get back their gold that was stolen by a dragon in the days of old. Bilbo, Bilbo Baggins, is only 3 feet tall. Bilbo, Bilbo Baggins, the bravest little hobbit of them all. Well, he fought with the goblins. He battled a troll. He riddled with Gollum. A magic ring he stole. He was chased by wolves, lost in the forest, escaped in a barrel from the Elf King's halls. Bilbo, Bilbo Baggins, the bravest little hobbit of them all. Now he's back in his home in the land of Shire, that brave little hobbit whom we all admire, just a-sitting on a treasure of silver and gold, a-puffing on his pipe in his hobbit hole. Bilbo, Bilbo Baggins, he's only 3 feet tall. Bilbo, Bilbo Baggins, the bravest little hobbit of them all.